January 1st, 2010, Battle for Dream Island is published onto YouTube, and YouTube will be changed ever since that day. This will create a huge community of young animators trying to create their own object shows just like Battle for Dream Island. Battle for Dream Island is a show with 20 inanimate objects competing for an island, and it is based off of a vote-off platform where every episode a character gets voted out, and that is based on if they win or lose a challenge. And this show is inspired by Total Drama Island, which was also a TV show just like this where 20 people were competing for $1 million, except in BFDI it's an island. However, Total Drama Island is definitely more strategy based, while BFDI there's not that much strategy. It's mainly about characters and kind of a comedic relief type of show because there is no strategy when there are people voting online instead of the actual characters, which makes Total Drama a strategy based TV show. And the show went on to change their creators' lives, now raising over 1.4 million subscribers and doing live meetups every single day and making this their livelihood. The show would gather millions upon millions of views on YouTube and didn't just change their life, but it changed another person's life who created the second object show ever made, Inanimate Insanity. Inanimate Insanity at first you could say was more like Total Drama than BFDI was, having their own characters without players instead of people online voting for their characters. However, this would change in the later seasons. It did feel like there was more strategy, like Knife being kind of like a villainous character. He purposely got rid of a character named Paper, and that would boost his game, and that was his strategy. Balloon was also another strategic character in this game, trying to control his team. But however, this would all change when it became viewer vote, and strategy kind of just went out the window. As the second season went on, it was more of a comedic relief show, and it was viewer vote for most of it until like the mid-merge, after Marshmallow was voted out. Then Taco came into place, and that added more of a strategic element to Inanimate Insanity that no other object show had really had except for a couple shows. No object show had really had any strategic gameplay or made their object show about strategy, and to be honest, it makes sense. Object shows were never about strategy, but it originated from Total Drama Island, which was kind of a strategic show, which originated from another popular reality TV show called Survivor, which if you are a fan of it, you know this game is wholly about strategy, and there's so much elements to this game, and it is more of a game than it is a reality TV show nowadays. And this new season of Inanimate Insanity, I would say, feels a lot like Survivor. There's a lot of gameplay, a lot of strategy, a lot of antagonizing characters trying to compete for the $1 million. And what do I particularly mean by that? Well, most object shows are viewer vote, as most people know. And a lot of the characters are just there to be nice, funny, or rude. There's no character development behind their games to winning the show. It's just kind of they're there to try to win. But with the new Inanimate Insanity season, there's actual alliances with actual meaning, with voting blocks and swapping votes and winning challenges. There's more strategic elements to the object show. It is an actual game being played than objects being on an island. With BFB and this show being the most popular object shows, honestly, I would say these two shows are completely different in their own ways. BFB is a funny show based more on the challenges and the characters, while Inanimate Insanity is just based on the characters and the challenges, but definitely a more strategic base to the writing of the story. And honestly, I can't say anything better about this show because it is such a good show, and I think that adds the element so well. It adds the characters so much more than any other object shows. There are characters you could genuinely root for or root against for if you're rooting for a certain alliance or a certain person or object, I guess, to go farther in the game, because there's actual elements behind it. There's actual elements behind people going farther in the game than you like them or don't like them. And this was proven to be lacking in a lot of object shows. When people would win like Fiery or these other objects like OJ, they won because they were nice characters. But I feel like now with the Inanimate Insanity one, you can look at the winner of this new season and hopefully be like, yeah, they played a good game. But you can never ever say that for another object show because it was never a game, really. I'm not trying to sit here and say this is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think object shows were ever meant to be a strategy driven show for the most part. But I do like how this is a strategy-driven show because it has really never been done before, or at least done this well before. The only other object shows I could think that kind of revolve this are the rebooted General Mayhem and Town Attack, which are created by the same person, and I do really like those shows. I do think they're very underrated. I do like the strategy base to it, and that's why I feel like I like those shows so much, and I like this new Inanimate Insanity season so much. The only problem with keeping up with the strategy is because it does take a while to animate these shows and these episodes, which makes sense, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about it, but it does make it a little hard to keep up with the strategy when it kind of takes a month to like come out with a show. Like people have other stuff going on in their life and they're not going to remember it. It's not like a reality TV show where it's every week. And I feel like that's why a lot of different object shows don't really do that, is because there's such a long period between episode and episode that it's going to be hard to remember things and hard to remember to keep up with timelines. But with just characters getting voted out by viewers, it's really not that hard to remember or keep up with. But since Inanimate Insanity has such a big team behind them, I understand why they're doing it, because it only takes like a month to 3 weeks to make an episode, which is very fast for an object show. And I really do hope this makes a change to some object shows. I don't think object shows need to change, but I feel like the same sort of show has been going on for so long. There's not that much you can add to the show itself. It's just kind of the same thing. It's kind of repetitive. Nice characters go far, mean characters don't. But when you add that sort of strategic feel to it, when characters actually have a reason to vote off someone other than them being mean to push their game farther, it adds so much more like room to write about these characters. I can develop the characters so much. I can develop like how smart they are, how dumb they are, or how they're really playing the game. And I'm not going to spoil anything because it's not out yet, but in the new Total Drama season, they also do the same thing where they add a lot more strategy than normal. There's a lot more characters playing to win than other Total Drama seasons, and I feel like this can only benefit object shows when a huge creator in the object show community is doing it, like Inanimate Insanity, and then the show where this all came from is doing it. I think this just adds a whole new element of writing to object shows that can really change everything. With object show production only getting better and better, I really do hope the writing increases, because one of my biggest knocks on object shows is if you're not 10 or younger or 11, it's really hard to enjoy these. I used to like this when I was younger. I don't really watch them anymore, except for Inanimate Insanity and some of them, because there's actual authentic writing and actual strategic, something that actually keep me like entertained, something that actually be like, okay, this is kind of an interesting show. But I mean, object shows obviously aren't meant for like adults, but I do think the strategic writing can definitely add to the audience that they're going towards, because I feel like it can definitely keep the younger audience, but also get a bit of an older audience to return. Like, I'm not an avid object show watcher like I used to be when I was younger. I really only watch the Inanimate Insanity. I don't really watch BFB or Teapot that much either. And that's the only ones I keep up with, except for Town Attack and General Mayhem, because I do like the writing behind those shows. But they haven't came out in like 2 years, so I don't really watch that much. But the reason why I do like this new season of Inanimate Insanity so much is because it actually can hook me in. I can actually get intrigued, and I feel like that benefits a show so much more. And I understand it's just a YouTube series. I'm not saying every object show should change this, because like everyone wants to write about this, which I completely understand. But I kind of hope this does translate to other things and make a show more entertaining, more funny. It just really adds a lot of continuity to write with, and I feel like this could definitely change the whole community better as a whole, to really not revive it, because I don't think it's dead, but add a new audience. I really do like Adam Katz's writing, and I do think he is a genius for these shows. I think he can really write a good show. He can really develop characters really well, and that's what he's been doing since the show has come out. He's been a great character developer and a great writer, and I hope this can translate to other big projects he's going to do in his life, because I know he has so much potential in show writing, show animation, everything like that, and I do think this can definitely translate, and I think it's really showing his true potential as a writer. Not even his potential, his abilities as a writer. But if you did like this analysis on the new Inanimate Insanity season, please consider subscribing. It's my first video ever on this YouTube channel, so tell me what I should do more. Tell me what you want to see, or what you want to what you want me to talk about. What's something interesting you want me to talk about? And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.